Good afternoon, family. Thanks for checking out today's video. If you're new here, my name is Jonathan, and I created this channel as a way to record my progress as I work towards my goal of losing 300 pounds in 3 years. If you'd like to join the family, hit that subscribe button down below. Also, click on the bell icon so you get alerted when I go live or post new videos. If you'd like to participate on the discussion, you can join me most weekdays where I go live on YouTube around 4 p.m. Central Time, or outside of my YouTube, you can consider joining the Discord I created. There's a link for that down in the description below. And Rick here says that he just posted a great quinoa recipe in the Discord a little bit ago. So that's a great opportunity to check out that recipe there. Also down in the description below is a link to a Pinterest board. A lot of times people ask me what kind of food I'm eating to lose weight or what foods we're enjoying on our diet. And that Pinterest board is a great place to find our favorite whole food plant-based meals. Today is day 818 of my 3-year challenge to lose 300 pounds. I've used a combination of extended water fasting and a whole food, plant-based, salt, oil, sugar-free diet to lose 240 pounds so far. I'm very excited for the rest of this year to reach my goal weight and then spend the rest of my life at a healthy weight. If anybody has any non-scale victories, I'd love to hear your non-scale victories. If you have any on-scale victories, I love hearing those as well. If you're struggling with your diet, what's causing your struggles? If you are succeeding with your diet, let us know what you're doing to help you succeed. And at the end of the day, what are some things you're doing that will make staying on your diet easier than the alternative? Go ahead, switch over to the main screen here. I already said hi to Rick, but Cindy and tennis and yoga girl, pretty girl's mom, Carrie, checking in here. Hello, everybody. I hope you had a wonderful evening last night. I was watching the kids all evening last night. Carrie had an event that she had to go to, so I ended up being Mr. Mom all evening and watching the kids. But real quick, we'll go over the food in the past 24 hours here. It's already telling me it's slow here, but I know many of you have been following along. We have been eating some of the meals from the Chef AJ reboot. And one of the things we found is that the meals we've made so far make an incredible volume of food. So it's a lot of food to get through, and we seem to be having leftovers quite often. And last night was no exception. It does make food prep a lot easier. You know, that's something that a lot of people that promote batch cooking, these recipes would be great for doing that batch cooking. Just get everything together on a Sunday and cook it all up and have it ready to go. But last night for dinner, this is the red lentil soup. I did put a little bit of brown rice in here, but not very much brown rice into that. It did give it a nice little texture, having those little grains of brown rice in there. And then the second half of my dinner was the mushroom chili that we had the other day that I mixed in a lot of brown rice with this. And it really made for a great dinner, very filling between the 2 bowls of food. I was extremely full last night. I only had room for a few oranges. Carrie picked up a new bag of oranges, so I did have a couple of those. And then for breakfast today, something that Carrie here says that last night that we had a fundraiser at a bar pizza joint where she ate nothing. She just had a giant potato on the drive there, and then she ate when she got home. Yes, that's one of the difficult things about eating this way, is going out to these public events or going to a restaurant and not eating. But you just have to get over the not eating. You have to eat something beforehand, have food prepared for afterwards, so that it makes it easier for you to get through the event where you don't have any food. Barb's checking and saying hi. Hi, Barb. Hope everything's great for you today. So like I said, with the last week or so here, I have been pushing my breakfast kind of later in the morning or as late as I can kind of tolerate before I get too hungry. And today I did that as well. So this morning I started off around 11:30 today. I had my first food of the day, and surprise, surprise, the first food that I had today was a bag of broccoli. That's what I've been kind of eating a lot of recently since we started doing the reboot. Broccoli is definitely the number one item of food that I have been consuming. So I did enjoy a bag of broccoli this morning. Carrie was not at work today, as again, she wasn't at work yesterday either. But today I did bring some potatoes, and I remembered to bring some California balsamic vinegars with me. So I had the teriyaki that I put a little bit of that on the broccoli that I had this morning. And then after that, I ate the standard oatmeal that we've been eating. My photo thing here is way behind, so it's not catching up and showing the photos I want it to show, but if it was, you would be looking at a picture of oatmeal right now. But yeah, that was the food from this morning. And then right before stream, there's the broccoli that I got done talking about probably a minute and a half ago. So eventually the oatmeal will show up. And then finally the Carrie says having sick kids is throwing my regular meals off a bit. Yeah, her not being at work has been throwing off the schedule a little bit. But I've been happy with the diet. You know, I've really been happy with this reboot. Having this broccoli, loading it up at the first thing of the day, and then also sometimes having broccoli with dinner or not dinner, with lunch or before lunch. Just overall, by doing that, I have reduced the calorie density of my diet, and I'm extremely happy with the results that I've been seeing because we lowered the calorie density here these past few weeks by adding more non-starchy vegetables into the diet. And the last photo that's not showing up here, though, is my lunch from today that I had just before stream, and it was just a big bowl of potatoes with a little bit of the California balsamics mixed in. Cindy says, hope the kids feel better soon. Yes, some of them are feeling better. We still got one that just can't get better feeling. They gotta be the sick one all the time. So, but yeah, they're getting better, and it's been okay. So this picture of potatoes is never going to show up, so we're just going to cancel that. I don't know. Let me see if I'm on the wrong. See, that's what's going on. I'm on the wrong network. That might work a little bit better here. So yeah, that was food for the past 24 hours. Yes, keeping Mom Carrie busy. Yes, the sick kids are keeping her busy. And although I do get photos of my kids just lounging around my house with the dogs and everybody living the life I want to live. Well, maybe without the being sick part, but they definitely did look comfortable today. So something that I want to talk about real quick, and it's going to be me pulling up a photo here. Let me see if I can fix this real quick. So since we started doing the reboot, I've been feeling really good, and especially in the morning when I'm getting going and I have an empty stomach, I feel much better than I expected to feel. Cindy says, weekend is coming up. Perhaps you can relax too. I am sure I will find an opportunity to relax this weekend. I don't think Carrie will be yelling at me because I was doing too much. So, Barb here says you two avoided catching the sickness. Yeah, I mean, it's something I'm not sure what, my one daughter had kind of a fever or a cough, but, I really haven't gotten sick or sick enough that it's affected me. I mean, these coughs and runny noses, they affect the kids a little bit different than they affect an adult. But yes, we've been able to avoid it so far. I have had a cough on and off for the past couple weeks, but our kids had, there's me coughing now. Our kids had strep throat a couple weeks ago, and we seem to survive through that. Carrie says, yes, a weekend with minimal plans. I like the word minimal in there. Like it doesn't mean that I'm going to end up having to do a million things. Yeah, a minimal. Yeah, we'll see what minimal comes out to come Monday when we're back here. And Carrie says it's from our super immune system. Barb says it's from the super food that we're eating. Yes. The food, I really feel like the food does help with my overall health and well-being. That's something that I was going to talk about a little bit. But one of the things I was going to talk about is how good I feel, and the Cindy with another super sticker. So much. Thank you so much, Cindy. I appreciate the super sticker. And the number one fan, you bet. I appreciate it. So what I was, let's see. Cindy here says, get a new video for the weekend. Oh, to watch, to just hang out or something. Is that what you mean by that? Thank you so much. Yes, Carrie will find something to watch. I'm sure she'll find a wonderful movie to watch. So the, in the mornings, I feel really good, especially when I'm fasted and before I've eaten. And so something that I do is, when I get to work, a lot of times I'll get on the scale just to check my weight in the morning. And this morning, the scale had moved quite a bit, and I ended up weighing in kind of just in my underwear, which is what most people do when they're not weighing in. Oh, here's the super chat. It took forever for it to come up through the system here. But yes, thank you so much for the super chat, Cindy. We will definitely have to pick out a movie and snuggle up and watch a movie this weekend. Maybe there's something. Is there some cool action movie that's out? I'm sure there's some awesome action movie that's out. I've been watching The Last of Us. Carrie would love that. Zombies and the such and things like that. So this morning I got on the scale, and I'm going to pop it up. This isn't an official weigh-in. And I actually weighed in kind of, I didn't have shirt or pants on when I weighed in this morning. And Carrie says, I don't think I've ever seen it come up on the screen like that. Yeah, I changed it, or I set it so that it should do that last week. So I've noticed it a couple times here with the donations. So yes, let's see. So yes, I got on the scale this morning, and Carrie says, glad no one walked in on me. The door was locked. Don't worry. I was very, I have no windows in my office. I'm in like a little dungeon, so it's easy to lock myself away and hide away. But I was just going to flash this up here real quick. Like I said, this isn't an actual weigh-in. I don't anticipate being this weight come next Wednesday, but that is not the photo that I told it to show. I don't know what's going on here. I'm not sure why it's not popping up, and this should be going away now. This is really funky. All right, well, I guess it's not gonna What the heck? Let me try one more time to interrupt it here to see if it'll change. But it looks like it's not going to change for me. Cindy said I've heard cauliflower ears, but not a broccoli body. Yes. So I'm not going to get it up on the screen here because there's something wrong with the link system. I don't know. It's still showing the broccoli from like 2 hours ago. If I turn this one on, it shows it too. That's so weird that it's locked in with that. So, well, what I'll try to do here is try to hold it up to the camera here. You guys can see it, but that's my bad arm. Can't hold things up. Let's see. It's not unreadable. Anyways, maybe you can read it there. It says 274 pounds. So it's actually 4 pounds lighter than I was 2 days ago. But I had to take a photo of it and send it to my brother and Carrie. And just kind of, it's awesome for me to see a number like 274. And the reason why 275 is a big deal for me is really just because of high school and because of wrestling and athletics. That was the weight that I had to be under in order to wrestle as a heavyweight. And for the most part, it wasn't difficult to stay under that weight. It's not difficult to be an active high schooler and stay under 275. I had many of my wrestling teammates were very jealous of what I was able to eat versus what they were able to eat. So it wasn't difficult for me to be under 275 when I was active in high school. But I can remember Pretty Girl's mom. Well, that's what happens is, yeah, the clothes probably weigh. So the 278.2 that I weighed in is pretty much fully dressed. So if I weighed in my underwear for my weekly streams, I would probably be a couple pounds lighter. So the 274 isn't like that big of a jump because half of the difference is probably just the weight of my clothes. But to be under 275. So my senior year of high school, wrestling would have ended in February or March. And I would have been right at that weight limit. Like I remember being kind of my senior year, I would have to kind of pay attention to what I ate, or I'd have to maybe worry a little bit. Cindy says, and that 15-pound brace. Yes, maybe that's what it was. I didn't have the brace on this morning. So that's probably where all the weight came off. So the, in high school, when I was 18, I weighed under 275, at least in February or March. And at the time, I can remember kind of understanding that my high school athletic career was over and I was planning on the time to go into college and do athletics in college. But at the time, I can remember thinking to myself, I just need to make sure I stay under 300 pounds. I know people that are over 300 pounds. And if I can stay under 300 pounds, that's really all I need to do. And my body will be able to handle being at that weight. Like if I spent the rest of my life at 275, I don't think my body would be that much of, it wouldn't be that much of a drag on my body versus maybe 250 or 225 but 275 for me, I think my body could handle it or it could hold it. But I kind of knew at the time or thought at the time that I really needed to stay under 300 pounds. And it didn't last more than a month. Like I mean, this is 22 years later, and I can remember actually thinking in high school, I need to stay under 300 pounds. And then fast forward 2 months later, I'm checking into the camp for college football and I'm 325 pounds. And so I gained 50 pounds between February of my senior year and like July of that same year. And ever since that moment, ever since then, I've been chasing 275 pounds. Like ever since I went and got on the scale at the check-in at the college to play football and seeing that I was 320 some pounds, that was, from that moment on, I've really been striving or having some effort to get back to 275, and that's 22 years ago that I did that, or 21 and a half years ago. And, and so many, I mean, the first diet I can remember doing was I was a sophomore in college. I took these pills by a company called Advocare that they had ephedra in them, and they worked extremely well. And I was able to get down to like 300. I was able to get to that 300 or almost touch 300. But then they took the ephedra out of the pill and everything fell apart. And then I gained weight, and then I gained a bunch of weight. And then I spent years and years at 350, 360 pounds. And then me and Carrie met and we tried having kids and we lost some weight. And I went to the gym to lose weight. I tried eating a low calorie diet to lose weight. I went to the doctor to lose weight. And over the course of my adult life, I've lost hundreds and hundreds of pounds, but never getting anywhere near that goal, that 275. And, to hit it, to be there or be on the cusp of hitting it is amazing. Like, and I don't feel like I'm reaching for it. I don't feel like I'm giving everything I have in order to get to this point. I feel comfortable. I feel satisfied. I feel happy with my diet and happy with my life. Like, I'm not like the lowest I ever got until now was in 2013. I saw a doctor, was taking a prescription for a drug called phentermine. I got down to like 290, 285, close to that kind of area. And looking back, like, I was white knuckling it every single day. Every day was a struggle to get through the day and to not overeat and to end the day with any type of energy was impossible. Even if I did eat the food I was allowing myself to eat, by the end of the day, I'd be done. I'd be just wanting to go to bed so I could get up the next morning and have my breakfast, which was generally next to nothing because I was waiting for the morning so I could take that phentermine pill again. So I would have that appetite suppressant so that I could get through that day. And with this diet, I've been able to lose the weight, continue to lose the weight, and continue to eat just an incredible amount of food. Barb here says that it was not that long ago that you were happy to get under 300 pounds. Absolutely. The entire 2022 was me trying to get under 300 pounds. From June or July of 2021, when I was at 310 pounds until I got under 300, which was just a couple months ago. That 10, 15 pounds was such a struggle. And it's so awesome that I feel like these past 20 pounds have been so much easier, and the difference between the past 20 pounds that I've lost in the past 2 months and the 20 pounds that it took me a year to lose. The biggest difference is compliance. It's being on my diet. It's the calorie density of the food that I'm eating. It is the removal of the salt, oil, sugar. When I completely abstain from salt, oil, sugar, from processed foods, I see these results, and the results come easier. And, I may enjoy the foods more when I have some processed foods, but I do that at the cost of losing weight. And Carrie says, also the internal battles that I was having with myself to stay on track, and I don't miss those. And Carrie says she doesn't miss them. Yeah. Like the internal battle for me is, am I eating too many potatoes? Or have I had enough broccoli today? A big thing I notice by doing my eating the way I'm doing it, where I'm pushing that feeding window, by the time I eat in the morning, I'm hungry and I know it. Like I need to eat something. And after I eat that bag of broccoli or the zucchini we've had or whatever I'm eating for breakfast, I feel so much better. Like there's a noticeable difference, and it's and I feel so much better, and I don't have to have 1,000 calories to feel better. You know, I'm eating a whole bag of broccoli. It's 100 calories or 200 calories at best, and I'm getting energy from it. I'm feeling full from it, and I'm able to go on and get to my next meal or do things throughout the day without having to have 1,000 calorie meal. I used to look at the meals that I was eating, and I would think of that food when I was eating fast food. I would think of it as like a superfood in some ways. You know, look at all the calories I'm getting. You know, I'm able to eat this one burger and it's 50, you know, it's 900 calories. That should give me energy for days, and it should, but it would give me energy for hours, but it should have given me energy for days. You know, I mean, imagine eating 900 calories worth of broccoli. Like it would take you all day to eat 900 calories worth of broccoli. But if you put it in a burger form or make it a breakfast meal or sandwich, you can down it in 8 minutes, 10 minutes, you know, like you could easily eat 2,000 calories in less than 20 minutes with the way I used to eat. Now it would be impossible, nearly impossible for me to eat 2,000 calories in 20 minutes. It would take, it would take a long time for me to eat 2,000 calories. And, just by getting to eat the volume of food, it's so nice. And it's incredible. Just the act of eating, how much that improves your mood. Even if it's not a big calorie food, it's still going to improve your mood. Just the act of eating. And, I think that says a lot about our system. You know, you might get a higher dopamine response from higher calorie foods, but the change in your mood, the change in your, that kind of you no longer have that drive towards hunger. It's going to change your mood for the better, regardless of whether or not you eat 100 calories or 1,000 calories, as long as you're satisfying the hunger. And so much of the success that I've had all of the success I've had is because of a plant-based diet. You know, I mean, the fasting was awesome, and I lost an incredible amount of weight by doing the water fasting, but I had water fasted in the past and it failed. And what I did in the past was I water fasted and I didn't have a plan. And so I just started eating what I thought was healthier for a short time, but very quickly just went back to the old way that I used to eat. And I gained all that weight back and more. This time I water fasted, but I spent the time to do some research, find a way of eating that I thought would help me with continuing with weight loss. And it has worked. And I've been able to keep the weight that I lost off from fasting. And I've been able to lose more weight once I started eating a whole food plant-based diet. So while I did lose a lot of weight by fasting because of fasting when I first started this, there's no guarantee that weight would have stayed off. And like I said, I have proof in myself that I can fail at it too. So a big part, or the main reason for my success, has been the plant-based diet. It's been focusing on eating a high volume of food and having a low calorie density to the food that I'm eating, eliminating as much processed food as possible, and really going back to what I feel like is how we were designed to eat, how we evolved to eat. We were designed to eat in abundance of fruits and vegetables, of what's around us. And it's been great. Cindy here says, as weight loss slows, is it best to eat more low density foods to get off the final 20 pounds? Yeah, I think it's going to be, it really is going to be how your body's reacting to the food that you're eating. And as you get closer to your goal, it's going to be tougher. You're going to lose less weight. Like I'm very excited. I'm like 55 pounds for my goal. But I know that those 55 pounds are going to be much tougher than, the first 55 pounds I lost for sure. But yeah, I think that you need to look at the calorie density. And I think that as you're working towards your goal, if you're within 20 pounds of your goal, that, your activity level might be what keeps you from getting that 20 pounds. If you're a very inactive person, and eating a perfect diet, you may find it's difficult to lose that last 20 pounds. So you might have to incorporate a little bit of exercise, but, overall, yeah, pay attention to that calorie density. Gene here says that you found a large wooden bowl at Target and you made your first chopped salad. It was so good and filling. We will be eating more of those. Yes, the big salads, the big bowls of salad, something that I never really get. It's continuing to take my mind time to process the satisfaction I get from a salad. And I talk about it a lot now, and I realize it a lot now. So it's not as big of a thing as when I first started. But when I first started, I'd be coming home and Carrie'd be like, all right, we're having a salad tonight. And I'd be like, oh man, well, what kind of dressing, as long as you have a really sweet dressing or a really nice dressing, it makes it a little bit more palatable, and she was generally making this kind of maple syrup mustard dressing that we had eaten a lot when we first started this diet. And I was eating the salads, but every time I would finish a salad, I would just be sitting at the table thinking, wow, that tasted so good. And I am so full. Carrie says that she thinks we're going to have a giant salad for dinner tonight. Well, that's great. One of the things that I quit doing though is I quit putting that dressing in the salad and was eating the salads just kind of raw or plain or without any dressing, and finding that I really enjoyed those as well. Now that we have some California balsamics, we'll probably throw a little bit of that on the salad this evening, as opposed to eating it dry. But Barb here says she needs to try a chopped salad. Yes, chopped makes it so much easier to eat. Yeah, it's a lot easier to manage eating it when you have it chopped up a little bit. Now Barb's asking what we have in our salads. A lot of times our salads are just crazy with stuff. And unfortunately, it's going to take me forever to find a salad photo because I feel like it's been a while since we had a big salad. But our salads usually have celery, corn, onion, red peppers, spinach. Let me see. Here we go. I found one. Let's see if my thing is actually working now or if we're still going to see a bag of broccoli. It's still a bag of broccoli. So stupid. So yeah, it's, we put some beans in there sometimes, lima beans, peas, corn, I already said, carrots, cucumber, kale sometimes, lots of different ingredients, zucchini. Yeah. And, Gene here says, try it with a few squirts of lime juice. Yes. Lime juice is real good. Carrie says that when she makes the salad, she pretty much just uses every vegetable that she has on hand and just cuts them up and throws them into the salad. And that's kind of what we do. But yeah, so eating this plant-based life or eating this plant-based diet really, I'm constantly amazed because there's so many times that in my life I sat there and I thought about where I was and how I was going to get out of the position I was in, and just thought, I've tried everything. I keep trying everything. I keep whatever the next new thing is, whatever the next gadget I have to buy to do, whatever I have to do to lose weight, I'll do it. And the whole time I sat there saying I've tried everything, I realized I hadn't. Now I realize I hadn't. I hadn't tried eating a plant-based diet. I hadn't tried eating dairy-free, like that alone. I think that if we could just get people to quit dairy, you would see an incredible difference in the lives of so many people that you love by doing that, but just all the improvements that this has made in my life. I was talking to a coworker a little bit today, and they were talking about kind of their improvements in health, and they'd seen their doctor, and their doctor was happy with how their numbers were. And because of their health, they see the doctor quite often. They're there probably every 3 or 4 months, kind of getting tests done. I think they had some issues with, there's concerns with diabetes, and then also concerns with cancer, because I believe they had some issues with that in the past. So they were talking about how they were excited. Their doctor was happy with the improvements in their numbers. And it kind of made me realize I wish that I would have gone to the doctor before I started this. So many people out there, and if you are grossly overweight and you're trying to get something started, I would recommend going to your doctor and seeing your numbers. You don't necessarily have to listen to what your doctor says, but you might have to go to him to get the lab results to look at your numbers. But I don't have any comparison to look at my current numbers versus where I was before day one. But I know they couldn't have been great. Like I always held on to the fact that I never had a bad blood test, but I also didn't really take, I never went and got my blood tests done much. And when I did have my blood testing done regularly, it was when I lost all that weight 10 years ago. The doctor was having me do these blood tests, but I was on a weight loss journey. I was losing weight. I was eating better. So I was going to see an improvement in my numbers. But, I think that a big part of it was that I was scared to go to the doctor. I was scared to have the doctor tell me, to confirm that I had diabetes, to confirm that I had some early onset of some disease, or, didn't want to go to the doctor and get the same, lose weight advice that, because the doctors never really know how to get, to help you lose weight. They just know that you need to lose weight if you want to see an improvement in your house. And, but I just was thinking about how much better things are. Carrie says, I think we can all imagine how your labs would have been at 500 plus pounds. Yeah. I mean, it would have been horrible, and, Cindy asked, do you think you'll get labs done when you reach your goal? Yeah, I've had my lab work done a couple times since starting this channel. I had it done in I think I had it done once a year, like 2021 at some point, and then again in 2022, I had my lab work done. I'll probably get my lab work done again sometime in the next few months, and then and see how they are. So I plan on looking at my labs and seeing what they come. I like the idea of lab work. I feel like there's a lot of weight that people put into a moment of time. When they take that blood out of your system, that's what your blood is like in that moment. And in that moment, there might be a number that's spiked high because of something that if you got your blood tested the next day might not be as high. So I know there's a lot of good science behind it, but I don't like the idea of pinning a bunch of changes in your life based off of lab work that you get one time. Like if you went and got lab work and then 2 weeks later you got lab and it said the same thing, then I would be like, okay, start making plans based on that. Oh yeah. I don't know. I guess they probably did labs before or after my surgery. But I never I never got the listings, and then he said it likely won't have cholesterol though. Yeah, but yeah, my labs since have been great, and like I said earlier, I never really had a bad lab test, even when I was heavy. It would tell me I needed more vitamin D, things like that. But the yeah, I'd have to check. I probably have some sort of online portal that I can go and look at through the hospital to check it out. Tennyson Yoga Girl says, speaking of doctors, check out Chef AJ's show today. She interviewed a 99-year-old Dr. John Schaffenberg. He's incredibly healthy and sharp as a tack. I think I saw the title to her video. So yeah, if you get a chance, check out Chef AJ's video where she interviewed that 99-year-old doctor. And for longevity, I don't know that I've seen a diet that appears to have as much longevity as this diet has. It's tough to know. Lots of people die for different reasons, and just because you eat a healthy diet doesn't mean that you're going to be, live forever, but it does help. It does lower the risk of all-cause mortality by getting rid of the extra body fat. So I would think that it would make a difference. Rebecca here says that makes sense to you about the lab work. It's a small snapshot. It doesn't always show the whole picture. Yeah. Something that, he said the word whole reminds me of T. Colin Campbell's books, the book Whole, and then The Future of Nutrition. And he talks a lot about, the doctors focusing on little things, and when you focus on a single item, then your results are if you have stomach pain and you go see a doctor, you go see a surgeon, more likely than not, you're going to leave with something being cut out of you. If you go to a doctor with stomach pain and you go and see a medical doctor or trying to think of what the word is for somebody who just does medicine, osteopath. I'm not sure what the word. Anyways, if you go see a doctor that likes to prescribe medicine, he's going to prescribe medicine. He's not going to suggest surgery. If he doesn't know how to do surgery, he's not going to suggest it. So a lot of times, people look at, a small snapshot of something, and then they look at it through the focus of their lens and maybe not somebody else's lens. So, but one of the things that I do know that, I got thinking about while I was talking to my coworker was that I plan to eat this way the rest of my life. I can't make any promises that I'm going to eat this way the rest of my life, because 13 years ago, I would have told you I was going to eat an 800 calorie diet the rest of my life, and that was not possible. But, right now, my intention is to eat this way the rest of my life, but I can't guarantee with 100% certainty that I'm going to eat this way the rest of my life. But what I can guarantee with 100% certainty is I'm never going to go back to eating the way I used to eat. I've learned so much in the past 2+ years about diet and health and nutrition. And I've done this kind of science experiment on myself, and I'm seeing just incredible results because of it. And, it's something where I'm so happy that I decided to do this and to get, to try and make this happen. And something I think that many people who are overweight kind of tend to have is that, at least for me, is, you have what is the word? Like, you lean towards trying new things. You have a propensity towards trying new things. And I think that got me in trouble a lot. Like I would love trying new foods. I would be all about trying a new food. And that propensity to try new things also translated to diets too, because when it came to weight loss, I was willing to do anything. I was willing to try anything. And I think that, I have to realize for me that I can be easily influenced by things, and that by taking the chance on this diet though, it's changed my life. Like that propensity to be willing to try new things allowed me to try eating this way. And if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have found it, and I wouldn't have seen the success that I've been able to see over the past 2 years. So, if you're that type of person that you feel like, you have this propensity to try new things, to be open and, be open to eating a whole food plant-based diet. Like, don't close that door. When you're willing to open so many other doors, when you're willing to try the new meal at Taco Bell, or you're willing to try the next diet craze that you saw on the cover of the magazine at the checkout line, then don't close your mind to things like eating a plant-based diet. Something that I absolutely had done up until I found it for myself, and that's something that, some people have to do. It's hard to push things on people, but I had family that asked me beforehand, when I said I was going to do this fast for 30 days, they said, well, have you thought about eating a vegan diet afterwards? And I said, no, there's no way I'd eat a vegan diet. No, it's not for me. I might eat less meat and more fruits and vegetables, but I'm not going to eat a diet without meat in it. And then, a month later, I'm eating my own words, my vegan words. And so, and Carrie says, for sure. And now we see family and friends closing their minds to it like we used to. Absolutely. And it's the same thing. They sit there and say, oh, I'm doing this keto diet now. I'm doing this diet now. I'm doing this program now. I'm going to see this doctor now. I'm going to try to do this program this week. And the second you say, have you ever thought about just eating plants? They're like, oh, there's not enough protein. No, you can't eat just plants. No, that's not possible. 2 years later, I've had nothing but plant. I haven't had any animal products. I've had zero interest in having animal products in 2 years. And I'm still here. I'm still thriving. I'm still losing an incredible amount of weight every single week. I may not see a 4-pound loss this next week, but it's there today. And I'm happy to be under 275 pounds today. And that's something that no diet in 22 years has been able to get me here. After 22 years of trying everything and everything failing, and the result of me trying everything was a 520 pound 40-year-old man. That was the result of me trying everything except for a plant-based diet. Carrie says, you are kind of wasting away to nothing. I am wasting away to nothing. I feel like I'm wasting away to nothing, which is amazing. Like, to be the lightest I've been in 22 years. I haven't been this light since I was 18, since I was 17. Like, as an adult, I've never been 275 pounds. And it's a wild feeling. Like, it's really cool to feel thinner, to look at myself and be like, wow, I can see a collarbone. Like, I started the other day, I felt up here and I could kind of feel like the ribs of my chest or my rib cage. And I was like, how crazy is that? I can feel my ribs up here. Like, it's always been too fat, you know, to feel that. Cindy here says for her finding out the detrimental effects of animal products, oil, and salt has on one's health convinced you to eat whole food plant-based, or that was the way to go, and the only lifestyle that is sustainable. Yeah, it's really the evidence is out there, guys. You know, like, you don't have to take my word for it that eating this way is sustainable. There's plenty of people. And I would say, you know, since we started doing the reboot here 2 weeks ago, and we added these non-starchy vegetables to our diet, and it increased the volume of food I'm eating by adding a pound of broccoli before breakfast, a pound of broccoli in with lunch. That increased the volume of food I'm eating every day. I'm so satisfied. I'm so full. Like, I eat sometimes at night. I kind of feel like I'm eating just because I want to make sure I can get to 11 o'clock the next day. Like, thinking that I don't really need this food yet tonight, but maybe I'll need it for tomorrow. And Barb says knowledge is power. Yes, I've learned so much. If you look down in the description below, you'll see all the books that I've listened to in the past 2 years. I recommend you pick up any of those books and listen to them. There's something that I gained from all of them, even if they're not plant-based or health related. There's something that from all of those books that I was able to take and to use going forward. So knowledge is power. Carrie says, yes, her cousin was asking so many questions about how we eat last weekend. And, she asked her if, Carrie asked her friend if she had ever stuck to a diet for 2 years. Yes, that's what I would recommend asking anybody, or that I would ask anybody at this point, is what diet are you on, and how long have you been on it and compliant? Because there's different levels to what we've done, but I've not eaten any animal products in 2 years. Very minimal processed foods. And it's incredibly sustainable. Like, that's the end of the day. Like, that's all that's the thing that people need is sustainability. And it's what lacks in every other diet that I've tried, is sustainability. It's always this starvation dieting. It's eating like an anorexic to get down to your goal weight and then go back to eating the way you ate, you know? It's just an awful cycle that we get into. So yeah, try eating a plant-based diet. It'll make a difference. That's how I lost my 240 plus pounds, 245 if you count that weigh in today. But so yeah, I'm excited about the next few months, and I'm really happy with the last couple weeks. You know, like, this is 800 days into a diet and still seeing a pound weight loss per week. Or I saw 4 pounds 2 weeks ago. I saw more than 1.5 pounds this past week. I'm expecting to see a pound this upcoming week. It's wild. Like, and I'm not at the gym all morning. I'm not working my ass off. I'm just eating a simple diet with lots of non-starchy vegetables and a good variety of things too at night. You know, I mean, it's a little bit boring with all the leftovers we've had, but it's still different. It's still, you know, I had 2 different soups last night with dinner. So anyways, I'm going to get out of here for today. It's the weekend coming up, and I know that the weekend can be difficult. I do recommend trying to stay away from your kitchen, stay out of your pantry, try to not mess with your eating routine versus how you normally do it throughout the week. Cindy here says that she watched Forks Over Knives again yesterday for the 6th time. It's fun to watch these documentaries. Yes, we watched What the Health playing just the other day. Carrie was talking about Game Changers with her family this past weekend, and that's what kind of got us thinking about refreshing or watching one of those documentaries again. You know, it's kind of neat to watch them with different eyes, you know, because when I watched Game Changers and What the Health and the one Forks Over Knives, I was like a baby, you know. I was just into this diet. I was just figuring things out. I'd be really interested to go back and rewatch them and see what kind of things I pull from them now that I've been doing it for a couple years, or maybe something different will resonate for me. Pretty Girl's mom says the reboot way of eating really works. Vegetables rock. Yes, vegetables do rock. Jean says, have a great weekend. Rebecca says, have a great weekend. Yes. Carrie says our oldest daughter was watching What the Health with us, and it was nice to be able to talk to her about things while we watched the movie. Yeah, we've been introducing our kids maybe to a little bit of this stuff, because as interesting as it is, I talk a lot about this way of eating because I do this stream, and Carrie talks to me a lot about this way of eating because of the stream and this public platform. But outside of that, we don't have any conversations really about our diet with people around us that much. You know, I mean, sure, there's different things, but our kids are going to constantly be hounded about the way they eat. And so I try to talk to my kids a ton about it and get them to understand what kind of things that they can say back to people when somebody says, you know, you have to eat meat, or you have to have this, or you know, what about this? You know, like they have some sort of retort that they can give back, because if not, then they just got to kind of take the shit and stand there, you know. But if they can fire back and be like, well, you know, they don't have to take the babies away from the mom to make my almond milk, you know. They don't have to kill an animal so you can have your chicken nuggets, you know, like. And so but also to be respectful, to not, you know, because there's a lot, like, there's a lot of people that eat this way that aren't, and I see their point too, you know. Like it's hard to it's hard to live in this world kind of as somebody who's eating a vegan diet or trying to raise some kids that are vegan. But they get it way more than me and Carrie get it. So them having this knowledge, them seeing these movies, them being able to come up and say, hey, Dad, somebody said this today. You know, what do you think of that? And it's important because they're going to be greater advocates for a vegan diet than I'll ever be, you know, because they're going to have 40 years of it under their belt before I even started. So, Pretty Girl's mom says you're giving them a really awesome gift of health. Yes, at least the knowledge, the ability to see, hey, you know, this is firsthand. I witnessed my father go from 520 pounds to 220 pounds. And this is what he did. And, you know, even if they do make bad food choices or they get a little bit overweight, they know they can come to us. They know they can look at eating a plant-based diet as viable. You know, they may not love everything we eat, but they at least know that everything we eat is edible. And that, you know, and I try to drive that to them too, is that just because you don't like it today doesn't mean you're going to, you know, not like it a year from now or 10 years from now. You know, your taste buds and preference change. The way people prepare food changes, so it can change a lot. But anyways, I keep dragging this on. I need to get going here for the weekend. Everybody, I'm getting out of here. I will be live Monday. I'll be back on Monday. And I'm looking forward to continuing on with this reboot. I guess we're on like week 3 coming up. And Carrie says, absolutely. I hope they always remember you at 500 pounds for that reason. You are the proof. I hope they don't remember me at 500 pounds. Well, the little ones at least. But yes, I do hope that they remember the difference that I was able to make. So I'm going to get out of here, guys. If you have not subscribed to the channel, get subscribed to the channel. If you've not clicked on the bell icon to get alerted when I go live or post new videos, make sure you do that. If you've not liked this video, comment down below what your plans are for the weekend. And last but not least, if you have not started your diet yet, get started now. There's nothing coming up that's more important than your health and your overall well-being. Nobody gets to their goal, looks back and says, man, I should have gone to that birthday party and had that cake. I shouldn't have stayed on my diet that first weekend. Nobody does that. Everybody looks back and says, I wish I would have waited. I wish I would have started sooner. I wish I wouldn't have waited. I wish I would have known how good I was going to feel. I'd have got started much sooner. Get started now, guys, and you all have a wonderful weekend. We will see you on Monday.